What up, everybody? Welcome to the Xcast. Right about now, we want to welcome you to the greatest podcast on earth, hosted by yours truly, the XSP.
What is going on, y'all out there in the interwebs? Welcome one more time to the Xcast with the XSP. Welcome to my little world, y'all. Welcome, and thank you all across the world. Those of you who listen to this podcast, and watch this podcast, the tens of you, the 30s of you, and all the ones that listen internationally, right? Those locally, I thank you all. And thank you for those in Australia. Thank you for those in Bangladesh that listen to this podcast. I really do appreciate it. You don't know how much I appreciate you. So I have a great show for you. It's a part 2 of one of my last ones that I had a couple months ago. We got a great guest in Clay-Doh, the World Destroyer. So, before we get to that though, I want to pay some bills. What I mean is, I myself am an artist, a musical artist. And if you want to check out my music, you can look me up on Google, the XSP-Xtreme Street Preacher. And you'll find everything that I do when it comes to the Bandcamp, when it comes to the iTunes, when it comes to whatever streaming service that you like. Go check me out. Go check me out on Spotify. All that stuff. If you like it, buy it. If not, stream it. It's all good. Pass me to a friend. Get my music out there. If you like the heavy metal, I do that heavy metal. If you like the slower stuff, like country style stuff, I can do that too. Acoustic. If you like straight hip hop, I do that. If you like juggalo style hip hop, I do that too. So check me out. Or if you like what I'm doing and you just want to shoot me a couple dollars just to support monetarily, you can look up my PayPal account, which is in the description somewhere, because it's always there. And if you like other podcasts and you want to hear life-changing stories, please look up Project Restore on Spotify. My brother runs that. You could look up A Burning Hope with Renee Torres. That's my other homie from back in the day. I've known him for a long time, over 20 years. Great show. And I got new singles out, all that stuff. Please support the musical side of things, because that's really what I came here to do music. Like the podcast too? That's great. And I appreciate it. And I thank you. So, tonight, like I said, I got a great show. Before I get to our guests, I want to bring you up to speed as far as musical endeavors. So musical endeavors, I just released a single called Splattered, and that's going to be on an EP that is called Oh Death, Where Is Your Sting? And it's definitely dedicated to my pops. It's dedicated because, you know, even though it hurt when he died, death is not going to leave its sting on us, nor did it leave its sting on him, because now he's in the hands of Jesus. And that's the whole message of the album, is that even though death is a hard thing to deal with, there's not going to be, that's not the end. The end is the eternal life that you inherit if you live for Jesus Christ. So that's what that's all about. I got a project in the works called the Lost Tablets of X, or the Lost Scrolls of X. And it's like a mixtape, different things I've done with some mainstream beats along the line. I got that coming up. I got an NLM project coming up, No Laughing Matter. That's a little more centered toward the juggalos, a little more aggressive. And I also got another project called Hell's Most Wanted. And that one is definitely a horrorcore style, but it still has that same message of Jesus, I just bring it a little rougher. Haven't done that kind of style in a while. I start off doing that style, change with the times and whatnot. That's what you got to do when you're an artist. You got to change with the times. But this one's a throwback, and it's hard, it's heavy, it's melodic. It's like if you like Dark Calf or you like Scum, things like that, ICP, you'll definitely like this one. So all that is in the works, almost complete, just waiting on some things and still working on some things. But be patient. I already released 2 albums this year, I believe. So if you want to look up those, they'll be in the description as well. So here we go, man. We're going to go to Clay-Doh, the World Destroyer. All right, here we are. We are back finally with Clay-Doh, the World Destroyer. How you doing out there, boy?
What's up? What's up, XSP Nation, Extreme Sounds Nation, Juggalo
Yeah,
Nation, whoop, whoop on them, whoop, 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 whoop.
man. I'm glad to have you on the the show. It's the second time, and I'm glad you're here. And it took a
Good to
little
see
minute to
you.
get here, but you're finally here.
Yeah, my bad, man. Technical difficulties, taxing my phone too much, I guess. Too
It's
much of
all
these, too much Christian mingle.
it's all good,
Christian
man. I'm glad you're here. I'm
taxing
glad
my
you're here.
CPU. Say,
What's
man,
up?
hey, have you ever, hold on a second. You ever heard this shit before?
Let's hear it. Oh snap! Oh snap! That dude looks
What's up?
familiar.
You ever seen that before? That's some
I've
shit.
only
That's some
seen them
fucking
in
shit. That's
pictures.
that
I've never seen them live.
dude. You need to check this shit, man. That's that XSP John Triumph mixtape. They on. It sound like they on that NJK beat. Sound like they're talking some major shit. It sound like a screwed up version. It's hot. Shit is hot.
Yeah,
That Unbreakables mixtape, man. Y'all need to check that out. You never heard of it? It's on that Piff. I downloaded that whole on there. I think it's playing off YouTube. Man, this shit,
yeah,
man, this shit's extra hot, like lava, like magma. That might be my favorite thing that you did. I don't know why. I think just cause like the way that well, you had some good features on here too. You had Sick D on here. You had Sick
Sick D.
Disciple.
Yep.
Uh, I heard some other cats.
Got Mr. D on there.
Oh, you got Mr.
Straight
D.
out of Austin.
Yeah, ATX, yeah, ATX. Look, I know you down there in San Marcos, but ATX, boy. Um, yeah, I'd like the way that I can tell you had some real good, writing sessions with John Triumph, and I
Yep.
like the bars a lot. I like the production y'all did on this a lot. I feel like y'all really showed your ass on the production level, which is no place to slack. I think that's kind of what makes or breaks a project, and it didn't break y'all. Y'all are unbreakable.
We're unbreakables. Like
Yeah,
dice.
yeah, just kind of like that. Reminds me of that Bruce Willis movie.
That
Remember
too.
that?
That's part of
Yeah,
we both like M. Night Shyamalan
yeah,
movies, so we
yeah,
definitely have references to those movies.
yeah.
Yeah.
That reminds me. I don't know, man. I don't know how happy that guy is. I guess he's kind of like Wolverine. He can't really die.
Yeah.
You realize Wolverine's like basically invincible.
Yep.
I think. I
That's
think.
another alter ego of mine, Weapon X. That's a whole other story. But
Oh,
that's not about
okay.
me. It's about
Well,
you,
there's another
Clay-Doh.
one too. There's somebody else recalling M. Night Shyamalan a lot, and I also seen Dead Man, Levi Deadman. He's kind of a new age style turn up type rapper, but he's horrorcore too. And he did a lot of his videos that he incorporates. He's got this character with like a red cloak and a hood on. And it looks just like that cat on The Village, which I guess was a bad guy. But well,
Yeah.
he is a bad guy. He's a very bad guy. Y'all check that out too. Levi Dead Man.
Already. All right, Mr. Clay-Doh.
What's up?
Before we
What's
get
up? You
before we
summoned me?
get
Hold on. I can't straight out the light. Like, hold on.
before we get super into what your projects are, I want to ask you something that I forgot to ask you the first time, which you usually jump right into things. I like that, but I'm gonna take it back just a little notch. I'm gonna ask you: have you ever seen anything that you couldn't explain? Something supernatural,
Oh shit.
anything
Oh, you
of that
coming straight out the
nature?
gate with a question like that? Oh my god. Uh. Mm, mm, mm. And the beats y'all had, they just kind of like rock your world. They keep your attention on this. I love the flow of this project, bro. I know you took, kind of industry beats on there, but it really let y'all really express yourselves and shit. But okay, to
That,
answer your question.
hold up, that's all to John Triumph. So shout out to John Triumph. A lot of those
Oh,
beats were
okay.
picked
Did
by
he do
him.
the
So
production too? It
was
sounded
that?
like you were doing. It sounded like you did the production though.
No, I did the mixing and things like
Yeah,
that, but he
but
did
see
the
that was half of it. I mean, he did a great job picking these beats for y'all. But I say that like the production was very good, dog. Good job. I love that shit. I
thank
love
you.
that shit.
I appreciate you. I appreciate your kindness. It's definitely a project that took a minute to do, but it was back and forth, sending tracks, going to Houston. Now you got me talking
Oh,
about this project.
is that where he's from? Is that where he's staying at?
Right now, that's where he's at. But we met each
Okay.
other. Let me go a little bit down the rabbit trail before you answer that question.
All right.
So we met here in San Marcos. Uh, we were working at Walmart together. And at
Right.
first we weren't really like talking, but then as we started to work more and more, I heard him freestyle and I was like, "Oh, you like rap?
Yeah.
Oh, I rap too." And then we started freestyling, packing, breaking down the truck and produce. And then we eventually, he's like, "Hey, I got a group." And at the time, he was doing a group called Odyssey 3, and
Uh
he was getting kind of up there. And then the group broke up. And then before that, though, we recorded some things in my little home studio, and we did a whole
huh.
mixtape, or sort of a few features on a mixtape that's not really out there right now. And then we decided, hey man, what if we became a group, or what if we did a group project? And it's like, oh well, yeah, we'll do it eventually. And then he ended up moving to Houston. I lost track of him for a little bit, and then I was like, hey man, I got extra time. Let me go up there. My studio's better. It's a lot more what do you call it? It's a lot more cleaner. And then we just
Uh-huh.
started doing tracks, and that
Oh,
mixtape comes from. So
y'all, y'all was in
anyway,
a dirty studio or
uh, that's not what I meant.
what?
I mean, cleaner sound.
Oh yeah.
So
But
I
man,
was doing
I
things on
don't
tape.
know how you do it, man. That's what I like about you, and that's what I like about a lot of the producers that I've fucked with the most. That I appreciate them because they might not have like all the I fuck with a broad variety of people. It could be like $1 million e-board one weekend, and next could be a closet studio, right? But those closet studios don't sleep on these cats. A lot of these world class records that came from a bedroom studio. So
Come
don't
on,
dismiss somebody. You working with somebody, you might be like, oh man, we thought we was going to the studio. We're just in your room. No, man, because you can take a little and get a lot,
yep.
and so
Point in case,
that
shot
goes
a
to show
demon.
you.
I
Yeah,
shot a
yeah,
demon was like that, recorded in my
right,
bedroom,
right, right. Yeah.
and it's out
No
there, and it
foolproof
sounds
boo.
good.
You know.
And that's a
We
great
had
song right
technical
there.
difficulties the first time. I remember you came up here. Your mobile studio action. It wasn't working. I know your laptop at the time was kind of maxed out, like my phone was. Why took us like an hour to get online. But it's not necessarily about having top notch like invested millions of dollars to get the best sounds from. If you understand your equipment, and I ain't the producer,
It's all
but
about it's all about knowing how to manipulate the program, put in the
that's
best
it.
plugins and whatnot, whatever sounds the best.
The
So
fuck, y'all got me. Fucking, y'all got some goddamn. This is on your mixtape, or that's what I put it on loop.
Oh, snap! What was that, wrestling?
Some redneck shit for real. Like,
Is that JCW? Is
I
that
don't know,
Juggalo
dog. What the
wrestling?
fuck? I got something like that, man. Okay.
I
Yeah,
think that's some
JCW.
Juggalo wrestling right there.
Okay, hell yeah, cool. Sign me up, man. Shit, that look fun though.
JCW. That's
That
not
look
on the
like some,
mixtape, but I watched
that look
that
like
on occasion.
some pre-COVID action. Well, it sent me over there, so I guess you did something for my little algorithm there. That's cool. I watched this shit. I was trying to jam your shit, but this ain't really bad. Ain't really that bad. You know, I know ICP got out there and they was in Wrestling Federation for a second. I know they was
Yeah,
dropping elbows on people and shit, and but you know,
yeah. They got their own. They
I know
got their
you
own
I know you a
wrestling.
juggalo like me, and but you a Christian rapper juggalo, which is
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
And you know, low key, I consider myself a Christian juggalo. You might not know. You listen to my music, Clay-Doh, the World Destroyer. You might not think like, you're not, this guy ain't no Christian. Like, what the fuck? He was talking about slicing people's necks and shit. Like, well, you know, I mean, just because the content isn't savory and wholesome, and some of it is, but just because a lot of this shit, you know, the horrorcore genre, doesn't mean that it's like you have to like go out there and start talking to dogs and like, you know, stalking people and shit and, you know, putting body parts in dumpsters. You don't have to do all that. Like, just because it's in the song doesn't mean you got to do that. It could be, you could take it, it could be a metaphor for you, you know? Just because I might have been gnawing on a femur last weekend doesn't mean that that's what you got to get out of the music. It's subjective. And a lot of people say some shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
A lot of people take a message, even like your music. You're talking about curb stomping the devil, and I've tried to shop a lot of my music to real Christians, or you know, quote unquote Christians. They call themselves Christians, and they might be like, "Man, you talking about demons slitting their wrists?" You know, I would love to show this music to my kid, but you know, I mean, Jesus wouldn't ride for that. I'm like, are you sure? I mean, it's a, like, because you know, when in the Bible, when he comes back, uh it didn't seem like he's too nice that time. You know, first time around he was nice. You know, he's like healing people and stuff. Uh, and then get to Revelations, he doesn't seem too nice. Like it's like they slicing people up with locusts and all this stuff. You know, he judging cats real
yeah,
bad. Then like if you're doing your thing, you might get judged harsh.
yeah.
It
The
might
the
not
first
be pretty.
the
And
first
and I'm
time
pretty sure
Jesus,
if there's some demons lying around when he comes down, he just might decapitate. You just might
come on,
decapitate one of them, and that's
yeah,
okay. And who are we to say to Jesus, well, don't decapitate that demon? I'm like, shut up, like let me do my thing. You know what I mean? Like, just get out of the way of that blood splatter. But that's really interesting too. The topic of like the the connection between Christianity and juggaloism. You know what?
yeah,
Because like I felt like that's what one reason why I wanted to be a juggalo from the beginning, because I noticed that jamming the music, and the first thing I heard was the Great Malenko, and then I got into the amazing Jekyll Brothers, and my dad found, you know, I was in high school, my dad found a CD who had the Jekyll Brothers on it. It's like a disturbing album cover, and he was like, he confiscated it. He was like, oh, these guys have got demons and stuff, and maybe they did, you know, straight up, maybe they did. I know they like do voodoo and all that, but it's like, look, you can take it. There's different ways to interpret this stuff. And one thing that's what I felt like if Jesus were alive today, he would be a juggalo. Because to me, the whole point of juggalo is that everyone's accepted. And that to
sure,
me is what Jesus is really about. And that's what I would always kind of low key criticize about Christians, how they like to kind of like push people out, be like, nah, they judge you, you know, you're not Christian, you can't worship with us. And like, that's not really Jesus' style. You know what I mean? He might roll around with, you know, a prostitute, Mary Magdalene, or somebody that's like someone with leprosy. They'd be like, no, they shouldn't be coming to church. They got leprosy, you know, she's a prostitute and all that. But Jesus didn't say that. So y'all need to check yourselves when you're out there judging people. I'll say it right here. You heard it here first. Jesus was a juggalo. He was the first one. And if he were here on earth today, he would be clown family.
yeah. So definitely that's
Yeah.
something strong to say right there. I was gonna say when you were talking about Revelations, first he came as the savior. Second time around, he's gonna come as a judge and executioner. So get your heart right before that time
Get,
comes.
yeah, get prayed up ahead of time. Don't, and we might be getting close. So it's like you might want to get your little spiritual checkup and get right with God and all that. You know, find out about somebody. You might be somebody that's spiritual. You might be a good person. Might be like, oh, I don't think Jesus, like Jesus was just invented by the Romans, or Jesus, we have got a mutual friend. Jesus
Yeah, we
was
heard
like
that.
invented by the pagans and all this. Maybe that's true. Okay, if that were true, still try it. Why not? You
I
already a self-proclaimed pagan. So if you say you a pagan or you an atheist and you don't believe in this stuff, then if you think that's what Jesus is either non-existent or that's pagan, then what you got to lose, go ahead and try it. And it's a positive thing. That's a positive. You don't have to believe everything about Christianity. The whole concept is acceptance, healing, protection, overcoming death, uh, getting close with the higher power. What's wrong with that?
nothing. And yeah, and we've
Well,
seen a lot of that
I
going
just don't
around.
get the criticism. I don't understand, PJ. What are people
I
talking
don't get
about,
it
man?
either, man. I see it every day, man. Posts all the
Oh
time.
yeah, oh
You
yeah.
know,
They man,
Jesus
they
didn't
pour salt on
exist.
Jesus' name. I'm like, what did he do to you again? Like, as
Yeah, for
far as I
real.
saw, like he wasn't
Or
out there hurting
Jesus had an
nobody. They
agenda.
crucified his ass. And
So I hear Jesus had an
still
agenda. It's like,
crucifying him.
yeah, his agenda was he's gonna change your life, and he's gonna die for you so that you could have eternal life. That's a whole other story.
Yeah, he
Uh,
sounded like a jerk to me.
I know, just such a bad guy,
Yeah,
such a bad guy,
jerk.
such an agenda that he has. He just
Yeah,
wants you,
man.
he
Selfish.
wants
He
to.
just wants all the spotlight. He wants all the glory. Oh, it's all about me. I gotta die for everyone's sins. Like maybe I don't want you to do that. Maybe I want to rot in hell. Like, oh, go ahead, just do it over there. Shit.
Right. So
I
anyway,
know him.
back to we went off on a rabbit hole. Let's get back to. Have you ever seen anything that you couldn't explain, whether it be supernatural or otherwise?
Yeah, I couldn't explain it fully. I feel like I've seen a million things like that, bro. That's a good question. Here's a good story. Before you want to hear a story, so I have seen UFOs. I can
Okay.
talk about that, but and that can't, I might have my theories and I might have my understandings of stuff.
So what
We
did you
were talking
see, and then
about Jesus.
we'll
Like
break it down.
I don't fully understand Jesus, but I can still I can surmise and make conjecture and build evidence and make a point about it. So, I saw me a UFO. We can talk about that. But if you really want a story, look, I was working as a security guard at a tech company here in Austin. I won't say which one. And this story, I witnessed firsthand the use of voodoo magic used to climb the corporate ladder. Okay, in broad daylight. So what
Okay.
happened was we had I worked graveyard shift, and we had the cleaning crew come in. And it's a big facility, right? Corporate offices, uh, big facility, and every night we would go through and we walk the whole thing. We'd be walking by cubicles and what have you, and there'd be servers and shit, and they'd have their manufacturing areas, all that stuff. Anyway, we had the cleaning crew come in at night, so we'd be working with them, and they'd be cleaning the cubicles, right? And it'd be usually like some people from native Mexicans, right? So they didn't really speak that much English, but we got along good. Anyway, so they go in groups of two, and they go into these big, huge office areas with cubicles in them, and they'd have some corporate offices in there too next to the cubicles. Okay, so it's a man and a woman. They go in there and they go into the cubicle and they empty the trash, right? And they might sweep something up, whatever. They don't mess with nothing though. Anyways, so apparently this was what happened. Now, and I saw this for myself, so I can verify a certain amount, not 100% of this can I verify, but a certain amount of it. And the story goes, man, because 90% of that crew, and it was about 25 of them working that night, right? Big facility, a lot of cleaning crew, and 90% of them quit that next day. So something had happened, and I don't think they was in a hurry to lose their job. You know what I mean? So it's like there's a little bit of veracity to this. With a man and woman, and I knew who they were, and they went into the cubicles. They were cleaning them, and apparently, and she had a good position with the company, and she had a satin doll in her cubicle, just sitting out like it's normal, like it was a teddy bear. And it was, and I saw it for myself. It was a little red, same color as like Tickle Me Elmo satin doll. No expression on it, just a doll, like stuffed doll, but it was just all smooth. No, like I didn't examine it. Like I don't know what the backside looked like. It was just kind of resting on her computer, is what it was. And it, sure enough, it had like a pin in the throat area. That's it. That's all it was. A pin like you might have on a pin cushion, like if you were a seamstress, if you sew. And oh look, there's people right there. I know they like talk about voodoo a lot. And so she goes in there, and she didn't believe in this stuff. So she was like, she wanted to mess with it. You know what I'm saying? And the dude, I guess, and he seemed like a cool guy, but he seemed like he knew what he was talking about. And he was like, you know what? Don't touch that. Don't mess with that doll right there. Do not touch that. They're not supposed to. They're not supposed to touch anything on the desk, right? But she was like, nah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean it's not real. You know, it's not real. And so she went, she picked up the doll. Bad move, man. She pulled out the pin out the throat. And I guess apparently she got scared. She felt something wasn't right, you know, and she got scared, and she put the pin back in there wherever it was, put it down, got out of the cubicle, and then she kind of goes into one of the office areas to clean that office. It's dark in there or whatever, and they claim up and down that she just started not acting right. Like she says that there was a police report and everything, and she claims that a guy that looked like Hellraiser with pins all in his face jumped out onto her back, weighed her down to where she fell down, and she started throwing up, speaking in tongues. Overall, she tried to swallow her tongue. They called the ambulance. They had to cart her ass out. They were out there looking for someone. Like, did she get assaulted? You know what I'm saying? Nobody there. Play back the tape. Nobody there. He was like,
this is all
see, I
documented.
told you. Not like I'm saying. It's documented a little bit different. It's
Okay.
more like she had a, episode, or quote unquote episode, or the ambulance was called, the police were called. I don't know. These police reports tend to kind of not show up a lot, but that they were out there looking for somebody, like she might have got assaulted or something. Anyways, we never heard from her again. And so I came the next day. Now I saw all this stuff that they were talking about, and I went there to do my patrol. You know what I'm saying? And they told me about the situation, and so I went. And then they didn't document this. They told me straight up. They're like, okay, this is the cubicle where it is. Now, do not touch that doll. Do not do it, which I wasn't going to do because, I believe their story. And I looked up, and I saw it for myself. I looked in there, and there was a satin doll sitting right there, all normal and stuff. And then I looked at the picture, you know what I'm saying? I won't say the person's name. And it just looked like a normal, regular, everyday, lady. Nice lady, probably make you oatmeal cookies, smiling all happy. And I was just like, damn, so that's how they're getting down out here. Like, she's just practicing voodoo however she does. She probably, who knows? You got powers like that, you might really be able to climb up that corbin. She was doing pretty good over there. And that's what I was like. And they were like, damn, because people were getting uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, they can't get rid of her. You know what I'm saying? No, because it's like it's considered like religion, and you can't discriminate someone for their religious beliefs, which is ironic because if she's like sticking pins in people's throats, that kind of crosses the line between like practicing religion and like it affecting other people in a negative way. I guess you can't prove that in a court or whatever. So she stayed on. I don't remember.
Yeah, was that the first time an
lasted
incident
on
like
the
that
job.
happened? Was that the first time or
I
the
mean, it
last
wasn't a
time, or did it happen
personal
again?
experience, like I said, as much as all I really did was saw the police reports and I believed them when they said all that stuff. And I saw the doll for myself. I saw it, and 90%, like I said, almost all of that cleaning crew never came back. They did not come back. They had been working there all year, never came back. So, I mean, like I said, I can't sit here and say I pulled the pin out on that doll. I wouldn't want to find out.
Right.
All y'all saying it's just like that Ouija board. I didn't play with the Ouija board. Okay, and there's a lot of people right now. Ouija board, come on, man. Okay, you don't believe me? Go to Toys R Us, go to Walmart, get a Ouija board from Milton Bradley, take it out the box, play with it. Come back in 2 weeks and tell me if you have fun. Everybody I know that has done that has all said not to do that.
It's
You don't
something
have
you
to
hear a lot,
experience this
actually.
stuff.
It's something you hear a lot
I
that
mean, I don't know who is out there advocating for that shit. Maybe Bone Thugs and Harmony, they talk about walking around with the Ouija board. I mean, one of them died, right? I don't know what the circumstances of that were. Real mysterious, right? I don't know. I guess it worked out for them, right? You say, oh, they hit it big, I don't know though, but even them, they have to go through their struggles still. It's not like they're invincible or something.
I don't know, but I know
Some of the
Busy
other
Bone went through
juggalos, there's juggalos playing with Ouija boards,
crazy. I was gonna say I know Busy Bone went through some crazy episodes throughout his lifetime, and he
Well,
contributed to mental health. But I'm sure that there's other things
yeah.
going
I
on
mean,
there.
they still playing with them Ouija boards, more power to them. They might probably some bad motherfuckers, but now he was acting strange though. I mean, that's all I can say. And I got people right now and they just idolize, but they love Bone Thugs. It might have been their favorite group of all time. And I'll bring that up, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I saw those interviews. That guy was tripping." And I was like, "Well, is he on drugs or something?" He's like, "I don't know if he's on drugs, right?" He
I
did
think he was beyond
play around with
drugs.
the Ouija board, and if you look at the interview, he's over there like he's spazzing, and it sounds like he's talking in tongues. I understand he raps real fast, and he was kind of halfway talking and halfway rapping, but there is kind of a fine line between this rap stuff and that speaking in tongues thing, which I never got into in a church. Whenever I go to a church and they be trying to recruit me to speak in tongues and stuff, I'd be kind of like, yeah, you keep that. You can keep that. I don't think that is some kind of superior language to me than my worship of the Lord. I don't think I need to. And it sounds like they're making it up, honestly, to me. Like when I see them doing it, I think half of them are convincing themselves that they're speaking in tongues. Yeah, speaking in tongues. They just like blah, 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 blah. They just making shit up. Some
All
of
right.
them, I think they probably were speaking in tongues, but I'm not sure how positive that was. If really for them. I mean, if it works for you, that's cool. And I feel like God's gonna interpret you. He's gonna know what you're saying. He's gonna know what you mean. So that's fine. I don't think it's necessary. It's necessary. Not judging nobody, not criticizing nobody,
It's all good. Hey, so check this out now. We're gonna segue just a little bit. I know you've written a book that you just put out. I know we were kind of talking about the last time, but how's that book going for you? Tell us what it's about.
Yeah, I got a copy
What's the
right here.
inspiration? You have a copy of that you want to show?
Yeah, I got a copy of. Yeah, I think. Well, you were cool. You got a copy the other night. This is it right here. It's called The Ordeal
Yeah.
by Clay-Doh, The World Destroyer. It's on Amazon, Kindle. I got paperbacks. They're going for 15. You can get one hand to hand. You can fuck with me, with a mask and all that shit, or curbside delivery. I could drop it off in your mailbox. I'll take Cash App and PayPal and shit like that. But it's getting good reviews. You know, people like it. It might I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it kind of starts off slow. Other people say it does grab their attention out the gate. But you said that and thanks for bringing that up. But you want to say like what's the inspiration for it? But it kind of goes into kind of a lot of the stuff we're talking about. I feel like a lot of people dismiss this, you know, and I don't think, you know, you don't have to be some Alex Jones type dude to believe that, you know, the world, it is like very much shaped and molded by people that are, you know, for lack of a better term, devil worshippers. Not judging nobody. If you like, if that's what you like to do your thing.
Go ahead,
But
speak on it, man, because I
okay,
know,
well,
I
they
know, like you said
yeah,
that Alex
there's different
Jones,
flavors. There's
but
different
it ain't.
flavors of devil worshippers. Now you might be a nice guy, man. They got different beliefs and different doctrines. They got just as many of this like Christians. There's so many different sects, right? Okay, that's the same thing with the devil worship, and they might not even call it that. And they might, but I mean, I just kind of group it all into their. I don't know if that's racist of me, whatever. But there's
I don't
devil
throw around
worshippers, and
that
they
word
think
here.
that they are. Yeah, right. We don't say the R word.
Yeah.
Uh, there's people in there, they'll be like, yeah, I'm part of Church of Satan, and they might be the nicest people, and they really would like take the shirt off their back for you, you know, look out for you. And that's how they explained it to me, and I kind of believe them. They say basically they just have a little bit different rules. You know how, like, you know, someone might say eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, but some of these people, they have this belief system. It's like that, but it's like times 10. So that's how they do their karma. Is like if you do them good, they're gonna repay you 10 times. But if you do them bad, they're gonna repay you 10 times that way. It's kind of extreme to me, but that's kind of cool too. It's like if I toss you a bone, you might come up and then be like, you know what, oh, you tossed me a bone, here's 10 bones. You know, you were there for me. Or it's like, you know, I might give you a backhand, whoosh, smack you, and they come back and break your leg. You know, not the same, just not just 10 times, 10 times. And so that's how some people look at it. That's their belief system. And, you know, whether or not that's how it's really going or whatever, it doesn't matter. That's their belief system. And if they're really living their lives like that, that's not necessarily the worst thing, right? You know, there's different ways to look at it, you know, a lot of different viewpoints about this. And so that's some of the stuff I'm addressing in this book. It's a novel, okay, it's fiction, but it addresses how the devil worship is richly ingrained into excuse me, the world, and also American culture. Americana is very highly influenced by devil worship. You might not know that. You might not want to believe that. It's not fun to think about sometimes. It's true. You do enough research, I'm pretty sure you're going to come to that same conclusion that a lot of us have.
So what inspired you to bring all this to light? What inspired you to expose the darkness, if you will, the spiritual entities that kind of vacillate through our world? What inspired you to do that?
Oh, just my faith, bro. You know, like you a man of faith too, and my faith is very strong. You know, it's like, and I got a different way of looking at it. A lot of people, a lot of Christians, they'll call me heretic. Like, no questions asked. That guy's not no fucking Christian. Okay, that's their opinion. I don't feel like I need to prove my faith to them whatsoever. You know, but that's one of the things that I feel like a lot of people don't want to talk about it because it makes them uncomfortable. So I noticed throughout my life, a lot of the problems with society and the problems with the world, I trace them back to that. Or even if you don't have to blame it on devil worship, but there's just real big problems in society and in geopolitical aspects, and then just the world and how civilizations have been run and society. And there's reasons for it that are uncomfortable to think about. You know, like take for example, okay, here's the real red pill. That's what did it to me. And I was a senior in high school, 9/11. All right. So when that happened, I was, of course, shocked. I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah. We need to bomb these people right now. Let's bomb, 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 bomb. I'm on board. Whatever it takes. You know what I mean? We got attacked." Uh, started to dig into it a little bit more. Started to be kind of open minded about it. Like people telling me different stuff. You know, started to be like, okay, I'm not too sure these people are telling me the truth. Like, as far as like what I'm seeing on TV and what's being purveyed to me uh, on TV, as far as the media, propaganda, uh, what's forming our opinion, what's giving us the information where we come to our conclusions. I'm looking at this stuff objectively, and I'm like, man, these people are full of shit. You know what I'm saying? And so, no, I don't know what happened that day. I don't need to know. I know they're full of shit. And so to me, that's kind of important. I'm like, even today, it's 2020, and that had a major impact on where we are today. And so I'd bring it up and I'd talk about it, and people just would not want to talk about it. They would not want to consider even slightly what the fuck I was trying to say. Like they would completely dismiss me out the gate, not hear, no, 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 I can't hear you, I can't hear you. And so that's when I started to realize, man, these people just don't want to hear it. Like even if they kind of might believe you, it's uncomfortable. They don't want to think about it, it's uncomfortable. So I was like, shit, that's what's wrong with the world is shit's fucked up. You can't just be like an ostrich, hide your head in the ground, be like, oh yeah, yeah, I don't see it. No, 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 I don't see it. Because it could still affect you.
Right?
And that's the same thing with the devil.
It's
So
like most
just
of
because you
the
can sit there and be like, no, there's no devil, there's no devil, there's no voodoo, there's no voodoo, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. I don't believe in it, so it doesn't affect me. That's bullshit. Okay, you lying to yourself. Just because you don't believe in something doesn't mean it can't affect you. So there is a superseding reality than just the one that we're creating for ourselves.
that's
And
right.
if we
That's what I was
can't
gonna
like
say.
reach into that and try to get some common ground there, some common understanding to where we can start to make some foundational uh, acknowledgments and a base to build up from to build something together, that's a big problem, and that's what's fucking us up. And so that's where I was coming from with the concept of the book talking about that, just uncomfortable topic. And then, like I said, we brought out 9/11. It's like, look, man, you might not like it, but the truth's gonna set you free, though. So you can just sit there and avoid it. Be like, oh, how does that affect me? It doesn't affect me. It doesn't help me. It does affect you. And if you don't, you don't want to acknowledge it. Like eventually, it's gonna catch up to you. Maybe not this lifetime, whatever. I mean, but your kids, though, your kids.
Yep.
We in this world long term, so it's like you can't just sweep shit under the rug.
I
Let's
feel
talk about it.
like people just don't acknowledge it because they don't want to think harder than what they're trying to think right now, or
Mhm.
because they feel like you said, I just don't want to believe that it doesn't affect me in that manner, but it does affect you whether you know it or not. It affects you by blinding you
Right,
to the real truth and
right.
digging deeper. And that's cool, man. And I've read the book, and it's definitely it does start a little slow, but it picks up so
Yeah,
much. The
yeah.
characters in your book, man, are so they're very deep, or they're very well written. There's a detective in the book, and his name is Rosiki, and
Yeah,
I
real
think, in
secret,
my
yeah.
opinion, I think he should be a serial character, which
You
means
like real secret?
that I think that he should have his own series dealing with
Oh,
other supernatural events. But that's just my
oh, cool,
opinion.
yeah.
So I'm not sure what your plan is.
Why you like Detective Rosicki?
I just think he's the way that he operates, the way that he maneuvers, and you know what I'm saying. I like that character a lot. He moves very distinctly. He has a good character, and I feel like him in other situations would be a fun to see.
Like you want to see him? That's good. I'm glad y'all bonded. He's a good guy, man. He's I think it's a good character. You're right, because it's like, okay, and I'm not like, I don't like the cops, you know what I'm saying? But it's like it's always kind of a easy way to, and it's just one aspect of the book, but it's an easy way to kind of go through a mystery or a book where you're trying to, there's a little bit of mystery to it, because that's how, you know, you're approaching stuff in life when you want to like learn something more about it, right? You got to investigate, right? And so that's what's cool about it. You know, I got a detective character, but it's cool because he's kind of goofy. Like, I mean, he's, on one hand, he is very capable. On the other hand, he is kind of a little bit tragic. Like he's kind of a fuck up sometimes. You know what I mean? So it's like
He's very
relatable,
multi-dimensional. I feel like he's
multi-dimensional, huh?
multi-dimensional because obviously, as a detective, as a cop, that you want to do what's good and you want to do something to help people, but then as a person, you're flawed too. So it gives a very good dichotomy as far as character.
Well,
Like
these
he's a
cops
real
want to do
person.
good.
Yeah.
You made a good point. I mean, I feel like he's a good guy. That's true. But you know, and we could, let's have this conversation. You know, I mean, especially with everything that's going on in 2020 and American history and around the world too. You know, cops. It's like that's a system of power that they're always going to be somebody in that role around the world that is kind of policing the city, or you know, whatever it is. And you know, it's kind of human nature, I guess, like not always going to end up being what we want as people, right? So, you know, Detective Rosicki's kind of a good guy, but I don't know. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of people in law enforcement that are like that. Uh, Definitely not all of them though. You know, they're just not all your friends. So just because, and some of these people used to think that way. I know my folks, they thought like that. Oh, this law enforcement, you need to listen to what they do. They got your best interest. No, they don't always have your best interest. Like those people could be the devil themselves, like worshiping the devil, literally worshiping the devil, and you're like, oh, we need to revere this person. No, fuck that. You know?
All
Oh,
right.
okay.
So check it out. So I like that character. What is your favorite character? What was the character that you like the most as far as writing, or what do you most
Oh, in
identify
the
with?
story, uh, I don't know, bro. I mean, obviously the villain is kind of, unfortunately, now these people say this stuff too, and they believe it. They're like, oh, you can't have no story without the devil, right? But I guess some of that is true. Like you got to have somebody messing stuff up so you can have something to write about. There's got to be like conflict resolution and all that. So you know, obviously the villain in there, uh, who is like kind of the name of the book. It's the ordeal, right? But it's a series. This part one. You know, I haven't finished the second part yet, but part one, Free Me. All right, that's the name of the villain. Free Me is his name, and he's like a demon conjurer type, you know, devil worshiper type guy, and so that guy was kind of fun to work with just because that's what kind of allows you to see into the mindset of them. But you know, he also has some humorous ways about him. So without giving too much away, uh, I liked that character because it was a good vehicle to present. Like I said, it gives you a glimpse into their mindset, and so that was kind of fun too because he's a lot like Rosicki in that way. On one hand, very capable. On the other hand, a little bit of a fuck up, right? It doesn't do everything. It might be kind of like believe sipping his own Kool-Aid a little too much, maybe, or just to where just a little bit comical. You might like to joke, make jokes. Kind of a character that he kind of remind me of a little bit is the Joker on Batman, the Jack Nicholson Joker. When he's in there like pelvic thrusting, like in the tower at the end, or on TV, when he fries somebody, kills somebody, but then he's got all these jokes, so that's kind of a fun villain, you know what I mean?
That's one of the cool things about your story is that it kind of shifts between very serious and to very like tongue-in-cheek comedy. I don't know if that was intended, but it definitely has that where it goes across multiple genres, almost like horror comedy or take it or like an Evil Dead type kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Evil Dead, man. I barely saw that the other day, man. That's a great movie. Man, I didn't see too much comedy in that.
The OG original Dead, the original one.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like,
okay.
I watched it several times. I thought it was fantastic. I was like, shit.
Well, if you go through the series,
there, like that shit is hardcore, bro. Like that show didn't go too well for those characters in there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
If you go through the series to Evil Dead 2 and then to the Army of Darkness, it gets a little more.
Yeah, that's what they're saying is I need to delve deeper into it. It was on Netflix, which I canceled because of cuties.
That's one of the things, man, that's going on right now. That's one of the things going on right now, man. You want to talk about a satanic agenda?
It leads. It always that's why I had to do this book, because all the stuff that it invariably, and you might not even realize you're doing something day to day. Something about it's going to lead back to this subject matter. But that's why I tried to put like you said, a lot of humor in there as much as I could to lighten it up, because it is a dark subject, it is a heavy subject, and it's a lot more digestible and more fun, to spice it up with a little bit of awkward humor and shit.
Yeah, man, that's definitely something. Like I said, the satanic agenda, going after little kids, sexualizing them. It's just nuts, man. All this stuff that's going on right now. If that's not satanic, then I don't know what is.
I tried to stay kind of further away from that aspect of it, but that is, see, and they will deny that to the fullest too. You talk to a devil worshiper, be like, "Oh, we don't do that shit," and maybe they don't. But then it's like we're talking about people that they print money. They're trillionaires, and they're shaping the world as we know it because they're making the rules, right? He who has the gold makes the rules, and if you study those people, 9 times out of 10 they're gonna be worshiping the devil. So it's like, what's really going on when you dig deeper into what's going on in America, what's going on in the world, and people are mad about it, and shouts out Black Lives Matter. I've got all the sympathy in the world and time to talk about that, but people, they were a little bit, it seemed like people were a little bit like, hey man, we're trying to talk about these racial issues and you guys are over here like talking about international pedophile rings like you some Alex Jones motherfuckers. No, that shit is real. Like, that is a real issue. Like child lives matter, right? Too. Like, hey man, we all in this together. Some people might not want to say that, and maybe that they might even be like, oh, that is racist for you to say right there. I hope not. And if I, maybe if I have X amount of white privilege, okay, but we're still in it together. If it affects you, it affects me, and if it affects me, it affects you too. So like,
I tell you what, man,
we should look at it like that.
On this podcast, on this podcast, we don't throw around the word racist because 9 times out of 10, it's not racist. I
didn't call you a racist. Okay, but
I've been called a racist. I'm Mexican.
Okay, because not because you're Mexican, but because what you just said right there, that's racist.
There you go.
If you want to make light of racism and basically you're a racism denier, PJ. Extreme Street Preacher, you are racist because you don't want to label people properly as racist. Like me, I'm white, therefore I'm racist. If you can't call me a racist, you must be a racist,
I guess
right?
so.
Oh.
That's the logic that they use. I guess.
That's going around.
Yeah, that is going around, and I don't like that one bit. I know I was taught to judge people based off character, not the color of their skin. At least that's what Dr. Martin Luther King said. But
Yeah. Well,
all
Clay,
right, hey, so check it out. I know you
it's
just
good,
released a
good stuff there.
three-song EP, three-song
Oh, okay,
EP.
right. All right,
Tell us
bet.
about was it Escape from Hell?
Yeah, yeah,
Tell me about that.
yeah. I'd love to. You know what? Since I got this shit playing right here, you know what? Maybe I give y'all some. Maybe I'll let y'all jam with me a little bit. Yeah, it's
Give
out there right now.
give us some flavor.
Distributed through CHHK. Shots out and Sony Orchard. Uh, published by Planet Clay-Doh, and it's a 3-track EP. You know, not crazy. You don't have to spend all day getting through the project. You might put it on repeat. That's fine if you like it. But that's more of the same subject matter. Escape from Hell. It is a little bit lighter too than the book, but uh, it's 3 songs. Escape from Hell. Typing it in right now. Let's get this YouTube action going. I want to let y'all jam with me.
So
It
while you're
came
while
out in
getting that played up,
September.
I seen you in another interview and said it was loosely based off Dante's Inferno.
Yeah, yeah.
How
I like.
how much is it playing off of that poem?
Um, not 100%, but it. It gets into it. I'm a big fan of Dante's Inferno. I don't know how many of your. I bet a lot of your viewers probably have read that. I'm thinking you did, right? Did you read Dante's Inferno?
I think I've read bits and pieces of it. I haven't gone through the whole thing yet, but it's definitely on my list. But I know what it's about, and I know that there's a lot of artwork that it's
You haven't read
inspired.
it, huh?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay.
Surprisingly, not as much as I
So
do read. I haven't read it. I'm gonna have to read it now
I don't
in its
know.
entirety.
It's not. I would not say that from a Christian standpoint that it is very heretical. So if you are a believer or if you are big into the Bible, which you don't have to be both, I guess, which I mean, shouts out to the Bible, but some people don't, they
Big
might be
shout out to the
Christians, but
Bible.
they don't. Yeah, big shout out. Some people might be Christian, but they don't necessarily uh they have their hangups about the Bible, right? Okay, that's a different topic. But
Right,
you can read, you can be a believer, and you can believe, and you can be riding for every single word in the Bible, but you can still read Dante's Inferno and be like, you're not reading something that's gonna challenge your faith that much.
right. Now, when it
Anyway,
comes
it's
to
supposed to
reading,
be that. That's supposed to be like, and it's poetically written, but it's supposed to be kind of like a fiction type. And it's a great piece of work, bro. Like you should
right,
definitely read it. I was lucky they put me on it in high school. They made me read it, which it was a good thing for me to read because in that book there's a character Dante, and for some reason he ends up going to hell. I don't remember why. I think he went by choice though. I think he wanted to go there. Uh, and Okay, here this is the first track on Escape from Hell EP. It's called Hole in the Ground. I got a video on the way for that. Directed by Jim Bensky Films. He's got a movie coming out that he's working on. Uh, this what the cover looks like. And so yeah, that's why. So if you want to listen to the shit on your own time, and man, is YouTube or Facebook gonna start bleeping this shit out because I got my music in the background? It better not. But
I hope not.
anyways, man, that would be some old gay ass shit. But because you have permission. We had This is my music. I own the rights, and we have permission to play this fucking music. God damn it!
If
But
anything, my the podcast just won't be monetized. it'll be demonetized, but like because
For
of
real?
copyright claim
No, that
problem.
should not happen. I don't think it'll happen because the orchard's pretty cool, and if it does, what they might do is be like, you've got stuff in here that belongs to us, but they'll give you an option. They'll be like, oh, you can go ahead and publish it. They'll just get royalties for that, like the plays on it, which is fine.
Right.
But cool with that, and hopefully it doesn't force you to demonetize the whole goddamn thing that you're doing. 'Cause, man, I can't believe what they're doing on social media these days.
Oh yeah, I
Off
know.
the subject,
Yeah.
Dante's Inferno, yes, it does have, it has a big effect on what I did with this EP and also what I did with the book, because in that allegory, they Dante goes through hell.
And he's shown the different circles, if I'm not mistaken. Like different people
Yeah,
get different punishments. Is that right?
yeah. I mean, he's just not like. So in the Bible, they don't talk about literal hell, what it's like there as much. You know, in the Bible, they talk about like earth, right? They don't like really talk about what's going on in heaven, like what kind of HBO you got there or Star Cinema, if you got a flat screen. They don't talk about that, the details about heaven. And they don't go into great detail. They mention stuff, but they don't go in like, oh yeah. And in this particular sin, these little imps are gonna have you stretched out on a rack, and they're gonna be pulling apart your legs and arms and shit, stretching you out, torturing you like this, and this is what's going to look like, and this is what the scaly flesh of the imp is, and this is what how they talk, and then this is what kind of weapons they got, spears and shit. They don't get that detailed, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I would always be thinking about this shit. I'm in church, I'm like, man, I wonder what they're really doing in hell right now. Like if they're watching us in church, like we going through, you know, we having community, just eating a wafer and some wine and shit, and they're like, oh my god, I'm so fucking thirsty, man, I want that little thimble full of wine so fucking bad. It was always like something I just could not get out of my head. Everything I would do, I'd just be like, man, I'm up here going through this, and I'm gonna go get a snow cone. Boy, I bet those people in hell right now want that snow cone so bad, you know what I'm
Well, yeah. There's a story where rich man goes to hell. And he's like, can just someone give me a drop of water to cool my tongue? And they're like, no, you can't, because it's not there for you
No.
anymore. And
Yeah.
he's trying to say, hey, let me out so I can just get this one little thing, and it's not offered to you anymore. So hell is
Man, it's
eternal.
harsh, man.
Hell is eternal.
Yeah, it made me fear God a little bit and question things, just the concept, because you know a lot of us that grew up going to church, it's a heavy concept to be getting pounded into your head as a kid, like, oh my god, I can go to this place where I'm getting tortured forever, not 20 years, forever.
Yeah.
And like, that's a powerful thing, and that might make somebody act right too. Like, maybe like, yeah, maybe I won't talk back to my mom because I don't want to, I don't want to play with that. You know what I mean? But I was like, well, okay, it does seem a little bit extreme, but then at the same time, like, well, I can't really prove that that doesn't exist,
Right.
right? So it's
I
like,
tell you what, the fear
if
of
that shit
hell.
exists, I sure enough don't want to go there. I'll tell you that much. I don't know
Yeah.
about you. Let's be like, oh, well, that's where the party's gonna be, man. Fuck all that, man. We're gonna be drinking down there and smoking. Are you sure? Do you got a brochure? You don't know that. What the fuck are
Right.
you talking about?
I was gonna say, man, the fear of hell can get you to act right, but the love of God will make you continue to act right. I feel like a lot of times the fear of everything gets you kind of thinking, but the love of God is really what keeps you in that place. But anyway, that's
Yeah.
just my take on it, and I feel like that's how
Yeah,
a
well,
lot of
that's
it
real
works.
love. I don't think you necessarily need to have all that wonderful rosy relationship with God that I know you and I have that, but not everybody is kind of comfortable enough to do that for some reason, and it's okay. But like, that's kind of a useful thing. Now, if you just are terrified to go to hell and you're gonna act right your whole life, pretty sure that's not going to get held against you. So, I mean, we're talking about karma. We're talking about a karmic thing. You get what you put into it. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So, if they're telling you in this belief system, you're a bad guy, you might go to hell. You're a good guy, you might go to heaven. And even Jesus said that. Like, look, this guy over here, the Samaritan, he wasn't no believer. Didn't believe in nothing like what the Jews believed in. They considered him a pagan, and he would go to heaven, right? That's what Jesus said,
Yeah.
and that's amazing to me. When they out there judging people like, oh, these Muslims over there, oh, these people are savages. They don't know anything about the Bible or Jesus, or they just were, whatever. They live in Papua New Guinea, and they just celebrate their gods over there like some kind of snake in the rainbow or whatever. Okay, according to Jesus, they could still go to heaven. Now, how awkward would that be? You go to heaven and you got Muslims there, and you got Aborigines or whatever, someone that never heard of a Bible in their life. And you're just like, you can't be here. No, motherfucker, it's not up to you. Do you? Yeah. Judging as Christians, making us look bad.
So, who did the production on this album? I know we kind of went off in a rabbit trail again, but who did the production back on this album? Who did the artwork? The artwork is definitely something to look at for sure.
Okay. I don't know if y'all was jamming or not. This is already the third track on the EP. It's Quick Money, man. But this is who did the artwork for that was he's online. He's on Facebook. Huey P. Newton, which I'm guessing is probably not his real name, but because that's a historical figure. But man, he is talented. I mean, you just look at this shit, like it's out of there. Like you can see. I mean, just look at the. I mean, I could not have asked for a better image for that. Like he nailed it. Everything I asked for, first time. I mean, he took a while. I mean, it was not easy, I'm sure, to do. And he's drawing this by hand. Like, who does that? You know what I'm saying? Look at the detail on there. Just look at that. It's Huey P. Newton, raw graphics. Y'all need to fuck with him. Y'all doing your mixtape covers and shit. Not terribly unaffordable. It's competitive prices, and I mean, he's doing a lot of people's work because it's like, I don't know who can really compete with some shit like that. I've had some good artwork before too. There was a guy, Bonjour Rob, made a lot of my album covers, and he's good as fuck. Who else? J Mix on the beat. He does graphic design. He's real talented. 603rd done some stuff for me, but that was raw graphics. The production on here was from Ruler Y, did the audio engineering, mix and master. The beats are from Boz, ATX Boz. Bad motherfucker. Stay in Austin. He makes more trap style beats, which I wanted to do that because I'm not always making trap style songs, but these are some hot ass beats. They're slamming. And that was cool to make a project with my kind of subject matter, but some trap style beats, which is kind of what you did on Breakables. You took y'all's subject matter and applied it to more kind of industry style, trappier type beats.
Yeah, I also did that on Trapped in Sin, the album that I did, Trapped in Sin. That's where Curb Stomp comes from. Has more of that trappy style too. And just to stay with the times, the next album is going to be a little different.
Well, I like some of this new age stuff. I like trap. I like trap music, and I don't always do it. But I just what I don't like is that lullaby rap shit. I can't deal with it, man. Y'all like that shit. Good for you.
What would you consider? Rap? What would you consider lullaby rap?
Fetty Wap.
I don't even know who that is. I don't know about none of these fools out here.
Okay, yeah, but we was out there at Longhorn Daiquiris on Thursday, and they had the versus battle. I'm gonna cast some shade on you real quick, XSP. But you're supposed to be a rapper, and they were doing. You know, they had the battle. It was Young Jeezy versus Gucci Mane, and I sat there and I'm we sat at the table and we're sitting there watching it. You know, they didn't have it playing very loud, so that didn't kind of help present this shit. But it's like now these are kind of some of the best known names in the world for
And I said,
years.
who?
Like these people got like 20 years been popping in that like very well known. Like you got Biggie and Tupac, and then below them is like this level of notoriety. Gucci Mane versus Young Jeezy, and first thing that XSP said to me, I'm sitting at the table, I'm about to order some food, and everyone's watching the screen, and he looks over to me, and he didn't even say, he just mouthed it to me. He's like, "Who are these guys?" He was like, "Who are these guys?" I was like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah, I really don't know." I was like,
Yup.
"Okay."
Hey,
That's
but it's
kind of
all
good
good
though,
though,
because
because
it's like that's good because you just XSP, you refuse to be like untrue to your genre, your style. You know what I mean? You stick
yeah, well, you
to
know,
your style. You
I
told me,
grew
you
up
gave me
on.
a little summarized history of your thing. Like you first, what was you listening to before you got into ICP?
I was listening to NWA. That was the first. My uncle actually gave me a
Right,
tape that he
Dr.
got.
Dre's and the
Dr.
Snoop
Dre,
Dogg's.
Snoop Dogg, all the West Coast stuff.
Right.
Tupac, Bone Thugs and Harmony was real big. Like when I got the Faces of Death album, that would really inspired me a lot. Back
Yeah.
in the day, um, all that kind of like West Coast, Midwest type stuff. And then after that, ICP, and after that, I was just like, forget everybody else. Psychopathic, all that stuff was the only thing I listened to. So yeah, if it came out anytime around that time, I
Yeah. Get it? Yeah.
wasn't listening to no mainstream stuff, that's for sure. But as far as mainstream,
Well, you
it
know,
cut off at
NWA
ICP.
and Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre kind of are mainstream. Like
Oh
that
yeah,
was very well
that's
at
what I just
first,
said right
but
now.
yeah, but
Is I
see,
cut it
okay,
off
so
around
ICP,
that
I
point.
guess, is not considered mainstream, but you know, they influenced the game so much, and I can see how like someone that likes horrorcore, like you and me, once we would hear some ICP, we would just be less stuck to that. But there's other horrorcore too. You know, you heard of Necro?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
okay,
that.
so you heard of PLR and all them. Now that's horrorcore as it gets.
Yeah,
Staying,
not only that, but it
staying,
has a
staying
gritty
on
East
the.
Coast sound.
Yes, true. But boy, they got the lyrics, man. Mr. Hyde,
I perform. Yeah, we both
Ill
perform with
Bill,
Mr. Hyde, I think.
Gore-Tex, all the. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Hey.
Yeah,
Shout
we're on
out,
that
shout
show
out
together.
to Texas Hatchet Cartel.
Hey,
Whoop,
yay!
whoop. Uh, over there at the spot, Kick Butt Coffee. Boy, they really put on for the city. I hope that they're gonna make it through all this pandemic mess, man. I can't wait to do some more shows, man.
For sure. I
Been
know
hard to put some
Texas Miss
shows in these
closed down.
times, bro.
I don't know if you play that Texas Miss, but
Yeah,
Texas
yeah. I
Miss
went
closed
to
down.
Texas Miss. I think they shut down, and a lot of them, though, they might be back. You know, a lot of these places that are shutting down and folding during these pandemics, you know, that makes sense. You know, once we finally do get out of this, and I don't know if it's going to be soon or later, but eventually we're going to get past it. And I'm thinking, you know, a good amount of these places are going to reappear. I'm hoping they do anyway.
Yeah. So, hey, man, I want to start bringing this to a conclusion. What's your next move? What is Clay-Doh's next move? What is the? Are you working on another project? Are you?
Yeah,
What are you
yeah.
doing? What's in the world
I
of
got
Clay-Doh?
something. I got some shit coming, dog. Don't worry. I'm gonna work on part 2 of this book, The Ordeal, Part 1, Freeney by Clay-Doh the World Destroyer on Amazon and planetclaydoh.com. I'm working on part 2. It's gonna be a trilogy. I'm working
What do
on
you have a
another
title yet?
LP.
You have a title for
No,
the book yet?
it'll be The Ordeal Part 2. Uh, I think I might have the title already, but I don't need to say it's gonna be a while, bro. It's gonna be a while.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Well, it
writing my
might not.
second book too, and it's taking a minute. I don't just doing other
Can't rush a
things.
good thing, man. Yeah, we stay busy, bro. I know you working on it, man. You drop like 5 projects a year, man. I'm trying to do at least one a year. Had two this year. There's some mixtapes coming. I'm appearing on the Eternals with a Z from Pound the Pavement, pound dash the dash pavement.com. They put together a mixtape, The Eternals, and I got a couple tracks on there. They just hit me up right now. Actually, they're like, man, we need a hook. Like, bet I got you. Send me the beat. I do hooks, you know what I'm saying? I do features. You know who I'm working with?
We working
That
with
we both know, Killer Dog. You know
Killer
Killer
Dog.
Dog?
Hey,
Killer
that boy has
Dog.
all heart. He's all heart.
Oh man, boy is he ever, boy. You know, I mean, he's out of there, man. That guy is crazy, and I'm
He
loving it.
sent me a track, and I was like, "What in the world am I listening to?" Because he just sounds like he
Well,
literally sounds like his name. He just sounds
he's an
like a
acquired
rabid
taste.
dog.
He's an acquired taste, but yeah, he is nothing less than what he says he is. He is a rabid dog on.
For sure. He's definitely that.
Yeah, maybe not everybody could get down with it. Maybe they could because you know you gonna feel the shit if you like the genre. He is definitely like you described a rabid dog on the microphone. He is buck wild crazy, and he's doing this. He's doing the thing. He's putting together a little mixtape. You know, I'm on a track. I'm gonna be getting on another couple tracks, and
Yeah,
he's getting
he
some
put me
big
on,
name
man. Put
features.
me on with him.
He's getting
I'll
a
go
cat
on
from
with him.
Australia on there. You should get on there. You
Hey,
know,
just
it's
tell him
like
to
I'm saying.
send me the beat with my part taken out, and I'll kill it. I don't care what the
I already
subject
know.
matter is. You know what I mean? I don't care what the subject matter is.
Rabid dog just foaming at the mouth. Why?
Yeah.
Just you cutting out? You cutting a lot, bro.
Did I cut out now?
Yeah, it felt like you cut out a couple times there. I guess we should go ahead and put a bow on it.
Yeah, yeah. So hey, so man, I'm glad you were here a second time. Um, so Planet Clay-Doh is a website, and
Yeah.
hey man, it's always good working with you. It's always good talking to you.
Yeah.
Definitely got a lot to
Much
say.
love. Much love, XSP. Let me send a shout out. Let me send a shout out. You see me greened up with cake. You know about that. Thank you very much. Nice talking to you.
Yes, sir. All right, we are out.